Hello, my name is Bree, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel, Breezy Banter, a place where I talk about the things I want to talk about. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about new releases in the beauty sphere, so perhaps makeup, perfume, hair-related products, etc. And I do these videos because I like to stay up to date in terms of what's coming out in the market, but at the same time, I don't want to spend a lot of money. I'm generally not looking for the newest, best thing to come out. I'm trying to stay content with what I have, but also it's possible that there might be an item that comes out that could really add to my life. But for the most part, I'm trying to talk myself out of these products. So if you're interested in that, I hope you'll keep watching. One thing that I did want to mention is I know it's been quite a while since my last upload. There's a variety of reasons for that, none of which are particularly interesting. I had my biggest work deliverable of the year that was due a couple weeks ago. I was also finishing up my first class for my Master of Engineering, and there was some stuff going on in my personal life. And then I also took a trip to Tennessee and Georgia. So there was just a lot going on kind of all at once. So that just meant that because I'm doing this as a hobby and a creative outlet, this is one of the things that had to kind of take a step aside as I was dealing with all the other stuff. So with all of that said, I'm glad that you're here watching this video now, and let's discuss. I'm going to go to the Trend Mood account on Instagram, which is where I plan on pulling all of these new releases from. So if you see me looking down at my screen, that's because I just have my computer in front of me. So let's get started. One of the first things that I see is a perfume by Byredo. It's called Desert Dawn. It says, Desert Dawn is a universal take on the woody olfactive family. The notes include cardamom and rose petals, sandalwood, carrot seeds, and cedarwood, papyrus, silk, musk, and I'm never sure how to pronounce this word, and I keep meaning to look it up. Vetiver, I think. And I don't think this sounds particularly interesting or up my alley. I think these are notes that you could get in from a bunch of other companies, including I've made a few videos already about indie companies, and there are quite a few that I'm sure have something very similar to this. And I have to say, this 3.4 ounces, the price is $320, which I have to assume is just in American. I think that's an absurd price. I can't imagine blind buying this. Please, if you're considering this, I was going to say go into a store, but now that I think about it, I'm not sure how readily available Byredo is in stores. Like I said, even if these notes were everything that I wanted, for $320, that's just so much money. I think I would prefer to try to mimic this. There are a lot of indie perfumeries that will do custom scents. So you could probably just give them this list and they would create something that I imagine would smell just as good, if not better, for at least half the price. So that's a very easy pass for me. Speaking of perfume, there's the Candied Fantasy Eau de Toilette perfume by Britney Spears. If you were a teenager in the early aughts, you probably had a Britney Spears perfume. I know I did. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure I had multiples. I think there was one called Fantasy or Midnight Fantasy, something like that. And I remember loving that. I'm pretty sure I bought multiple bottles of that and used them all up. And I know I just had tons of her perfumes because they were all just kind of in that general sort of sweet family, which is what I tend to go for. So this is described as indulge in a fantasy of joy and delight with fragrance designed for the whimsical yet provocative and sophisticated woman like Britney who loves the sweet side of life. The notes include bubblegum delight, strawberry, orange, pink hibiscus, jasmine, sambac absolute, lily of the valley, musk, sandalwood, pink velvet, cupcake, accord. I think that sounds delicious and incredible. I would be very interested in smelling this in the store. I won't be blind buying it. I have perfumes already that have very similar notes, but if I do stop by a store that sells this, I plan on taking a smell. So interesting, but not for me at this point in time. The next thing that I want to talk about is the blushes coming from Fenty Beauty. So the reason that I want to talk about this is because, I'll read the description first. It says, it's all about fun color, incredible texture, and high performance playing together. Comes in rich blendable shades that pop in all tones, a hybrid powder cream texture, waterproof, long wear, weightless, easily blendable in 8 shades. And the reason that I'm particularly interested in this is because there's the color Drama Class, which is described as a shimmery purple. And the reason that I'm so interested in that is because I've mentioned in a few videos that I was searching for a purple blush for the longest time. And one of the few one of the few companies that actually was sold in Sephora that had a purple blush was Fenty Beauty in the color Drama Class. And I think at the time, if I remember correctly, I explained this in another video, but if I recall correctly, what had happened was I had gone in store to swatch it. I didn't quite like how it sat on, I swatched it on my hand. I didn't quite like how it swatched, particularly around the hair follicles. It seemed like it kind of sat in the hair follicle. I didn't prime my hand, so that's possibly a reason why that would happen. But afterwards, when I was browsing online, Drama Class was sold out or like unavailable on the Sephora website for a really long time. And it was really disappointing because I thought that meant that Fenty would not be, like, they were going to be removing it from their lineup. And I'm pretty sure when I went to the Fenty website itself, it also wasn't there. It was shown as sold out. So I'm wondering if they were just reformulating because the product that I'm talking about was a cream one, whereas this is now a hybrid powder cream texture. I haven't checked in a while to see if that blush is back in store in Sephora, but if it's not, I suspect that's what's happening. This does really interest me because I'm looking at the swatches and these seem just like absolutely beautiful. I do like the idea of a powder cream texture. Cream is my preference in terms of, I was gonna say cream is my preference when it comes to blush, but I don't actually know how strongly I stand by that. I tend to enjoy both. The purple blush that I have now is a powder and I quite like it. So I don't really need 2 purple blushes, but I do like that this is an option and I'm definitely interested. I'm probably gonna add it to my loves list and then make a decision down the road. They also have another absolutely gorgeous color called Daiquiri Dip, which again, I'm pretty sure that was another color that they had in the cream formula. So it's a bit unclear to me. It seems like some of these colors were colors that they sold in the cream formula. I don't think all of these are reoccurring colors. I'm not really sure what's going on. There is a blush brush for $34 that you can buy with this. I don't need a $34 brush. The one that I have, I'm pretty sure I bought from e.l.f. and I bought it so many years ago, but it works perfectly fine. I'll be adding the Drama Class and the Daiquiri Dip colors to my wish list, but at least at this point in time, I won't be purchasing. The next thing that I'll talk about is it looks like Pure Cosmetics is coming out with a mascara. It says it's a biocharged plant-based volumizing mascara. They're also coming out with eyeliners. Doesn't interest me. I very rarely use eyeliners. I somewhat recently bought 2 ColourPop chrome eyeliners and I've been using those fairly regularly, but other than that I just don't tend to use them, so that eyeliner is that's an easy pass. The reason that I'm not super into this mascara, and I tend to very much enjoy mascaras and I don't know why, I feel like I can't really say that there's a mascara that has made my lashes so much different than any other mascara. It's more in terms of my enjoyment of the product comes more from the actual application process. So how easy is that process given like the brush, given the wand, etc. And I don't tend to have that many issues with mascara. Very occasionally it might smudge. I don't think I've ever had an issue with flaking. That tends to be why I go for waterproof mascaras. This one doesn't seem to be waterproof. I am a little nervous that it's described as plant-based, which I assume that might be implying that there aren't preservatives, and mascara is kind of like, I want preservatives in virtually all of my makeup products, but mascara, like, absolutely for sure I do. So that makes me a little nervous. I feel like this would go off within like 2 months. I also very much have a preference for, I'm not sure the best way to describe it, but like a plastic type brush. And I think this is plastic. I don't see it described here, but it's a bit difficult to describe what I mean. There's like, I'll try to find an example of what I'm talking about in terms of what I prefer, and this brush just isn't that as well. So all of that to say, I'm not interested in picking this up. It's cool to see that Pure Cosmetics is coming out with a mascara, but it's not for me. And next I want to talk about the eyeshadow palette City Space Cowboy Star Palette from Urban Decay. It includes the shades Space Cowboy Rides Again, Endless Party, A-List Energy, VIP Only, No Sleep Club, and Vibing. This is giving very like Gen Z to me. I don't think these colors look particularly interesting. Like, I know Space Cowboy is a beloved color, but this isn't Space Cowboy, it's Space Cowboy Rise Again. This is basically just kind of a very neutral eyeshadow palette for a light to perhaps medium skin toned individual. I'm sure like they're fine. I just think that for what you're getting, which are essentially brown eyeshadows, a variation on brown eyeshadows, there are so many other places that you can look to get that in for better quality and or better price. Like even I'm sure ColourPop has something you could do, like a build your own palette if they're still doing that for like half the price. I also don't like the packaging. It looks like the star is like raised, so I don't think you could put anything on top of that. Seems like a headache for storing. I also hate the giant UD for Urban Decay that they put on there. So in terms of shadows, they look nice, but there are lots of stores that sell nice eyeshadows. So this is an easy pass for me. There's so many perfumes coming out. I know it's interesting to see the change in the beauty industry, how beauty was huge, and then in particular, eyeshadow palettes were really, really big, and then COVID hit and skincare really became the big thing. Now people are talking about the move into fragrances. It's just interesting that it seems like there's just so many that are coming out. As I'm scrolling through, like I'm talking about like 20% of the ones that I'm actually seeing. The next thing that I see here is Blake Brown Beauty by Blake Lively is coming out with a hair care line. It looks like there's going to be a nourishing mask, shampoo, dry shampoo, a mousse, another mask hair treatment, leave-in potion shampoo and conditioner, pre-shampoo mask, and strengthening shampoo. So it seems like it's basically shampoos, masks, and a mousse. The prices seem quite reasonable. They're all under $20 except for the pre-shampoo mask, which is $25. I'm curious to see the reviews when people start trying this. I have been dealing with hair breakage for about the past 2 years for a variety of reasons. When I'm stressed or anxious, I tend to play with my hair. And I know it's not great. It's a really difficult habit to break, but I have been dealing with breakage. And so a nourishing mask sounds quite good. Shampoos, I don't like spending a lot of time on, or I don't like spending a lot of money on shampoos. Sorry, if I've moved, it's because I had to stand up for a minute and come back, so I might be in a different position than I just was. As I believe I was saying, if something spends a lot of time on my face or on my hair, then I don't mind spending a bit more money on it. So things like moisturizers or hair oils, because that's literally on my face or my hair all day. But when it comes to things like shampoos or cleansers, that's on my face or on my hair for like at most a couple minutes. And so just investing my money there doesn't seem to make sense to me. But like I said, these products seem reasonably priced, and I'm going to be looking for reviews of people who try it. I think Blake Lively is gorgeous, to say the least. I know that's for a variety of reasons. She has people styling her hair all the time. I doubt she's actually using these products herself, but yeah, I'll be keeping my eye out on it. At this point in time, obviously won't be purchasing. The next product that I want to talk about is the new shade of the Pocket Blush in Sprinkles. This is from Road Jones Beauty. It's described as a warm, pearly pink shade that you can only pick up at their NYC pop-up. That's a bit frustrating, to say the least. I think the color looks really nice. I think what's getting me here is the marketing images, where there's a picture you can very clearly kind of see like what the texture looks like. I think the image of the shimmer doesn't look like it's just full-on glitter, but I think it's shimmer. In the blush looks really pretty, and I love the whipped cream on top. The whipped cream with sprinkles on top of the container itself. All of that said, I've kind of roasted this product before because I think the packaging is horrendous. I think it looks like private parts of a person. It looks like so much plastic for just a small amount of blush. So like the color, like the marketing, I won't be picking this up. Also, I'm not going to be in New York City at their pop-up to be picking this up. Somebody in the TRESemmé comments said, bro, the packaging of these blush sticks look like corn dogs. I see where they're coming from. That's not what I see when I look at it, but that is very amusing to me. The next product that I want to talk about is the new Cheetah collection by Chantecaille. The only reason that I want to talk about this is because this is kind of a very similar story to what I was describing for Urban Decay, where these are the most basic brown colors that you can get in eyeshadow, and I don't say that derisively. I think there is a time and a place for a basic eyeshadow color, and that time and place is basically if you want to wear it, wherever you want to wear it. But for that Cheetah Eye Trio, $78, you're getting those 3 shades. Just think, I personally believe that my money is better spent elsewhere. This doesn't intrigue me at all beyond the fact that cheetahs used to be my favorite animal. I don't really like Chantecaille. I don't really like the way that Chantecaille does their, I'm not sure what to call it, like charity fundraising, etc. It definitely reminds me of like going to the grocery store and they're asking if you want to donate $2 to whatever charity, and that company then gets to use it as a tax write-off as opposed to you as an individual if you were to donate yourself. So I don't like that. I don't see them indicating if this money will be going to a particular charity, but if it is, and if you are so inclined to donate to that charity, I would encourage you to do so directly on your own. I will also mention that in each of my videos, I include a link to GiveWell, which is an organization I've mentioned here before, where they basically they use a very logical and I'd say rational approach to the charities. So if you are interested in doing a charitable donation, I would encourage you to take a look at that link. I'm not affiliated with them whatsoever. It's just something that I believe in. Okay, the next thing that I'll talk about is the OG Naked Eyeshadow Palette by Urban Decay. It says, backed by popular demand with limited quantities, the iconic 12 neutral eyeshadows and ultra smooth mattes, glimmering metallics, stunning shimmers, and velvety satins, $59. I'm not interested in this in the least. I don't think I've ever had an Urban Decay eyeshadow palette. I have had, I believe, 2 of their singles. I can't remember the names of them off the top of my head, but those singles themselves are perfectly fine. I've heard mixed reviews of the Naked palettes themselves, or not the Naked palettes, but Urban Decay eyeshadow palettes themselves. And this seems like a very run-of-the-mill color story. And I'm virtually certain that if you own some of Natasha Denona's palettes, this would be very comparable to them. I'm happy for the people that have wanted this and now it's come back for them to pick it up. But I think so much of the allure of the Naked palette has kind of come and gone. I'm kind of amused because on Trend Nude somebody said, and twice the OG price, which yeah, Urban Decay is definitely getting up there in terms of price. The next product that I'll talk about is the new Beauty Screen Mineral Peptide Foundation Tint SPF 50 by Naked Sundays. It says it's a 2-in-1 non-nano mineral sunscreen foundation tint with SPF 50, peptide infused, packed with skin-loving antioxidants in 13 shades, $38 each. Light to medium coverage, buildable, natural satin finish, 80 minutes water resistant, etc. This seems perfectly fine. $38 American will likely come out to about $50 Canadian, which is pretty expensive. And I don't think this says how much you get. Yeah, it doesn't say the size here. I'm guessing it's an ounce, but that definitely is up there. I'm pretty certain I've tried other things from Naked Sundays in terms of skincare and have quite enjoyed them, but I like the idea of this. I just wish it was like half the price. That's kind of been a story for a lot of people in the past few years. I'm curious that they described it as non-nano mineral sunscreen as a selling point, because like, are there nano mineral sunscreens that people don't like? I'm not really sure. This also comes with a list of infused with skincare, including peptides, niacinamide, etc. And I've said before that I have my skincare routine, so I'm not looking for my makeup to do that for me. So it's like an addition if a product does it, but it's not something that I'm really looking for. The next thing that I'll talk about is the new body collection from Tree Hut. So it looks like they have 2 new scents that are coming out. One is Pumpkin Pop, which is pumpkin cider, apple, and a note of sandalwood, and Cherry Rave, which has notes of dark cherry, raspberry, rhubarb, and a soft note of amber. One of the things that I kind of enjoy, I really like the fall and springtime in particular, but for myself personally, I find that fall scents often have notes that I don't tend to enjoy. That means that so many things are an easy pass for me. I can imagine people going crazy for Pumpkin Pop. However, I don't tend to like pumpkin as a note. So this is very easy for me to pass on. I do think the Tree Hut sugar scrubs are nice. I've used, I think one was, it was like watermelon something, and I really enjoyed it. They're like they're $12, so it's not like wildly expensive, but I think for how much I use, it tends to be on the more expensive side in terms of money per use. That said, I enjoy using these as a nice treat. I just won't be picking up one of these anytime soon. Okay, there's a new mini rose eyeshadow palette by Natasha Denona. It says, drawing inspiration from the iconic rosy hues of the Rose Cheek duo and I Need a Rose lip collection, travel friendly with 5 dazzling and silky smooth, cool toned pink, mauve, and taupe shades. As I've described so many of the palettes that we've talked about today, it's very basic. Nothing wrong with that. I think the 2 shimmer shadows in particular are gorgeous. They almost look like they could be duochromes. I hate pink with brown so much, so I dislike that second color in this palette. I wish it almost would have been like perhaps more on the purpley side of things, or even like a lilac, maybe a dark lilac, but I won't be picking this up. I have 2 Natasha Denona palettes and I love them both, but this one, I think what's really getting me about this are the 2 shimmer shadows, but I have so many, I feel like I have so many multi-chromes that are better than this, frankly, from companies like Cliona. So this is an easy pass for me. I'm kind of curious as to why this is coming out now. It seems like it would be a really good pick for Valentine's Day, maybe push it off to next Valentine's Day, but so it is. Next, I want to talk about the new Mixed Emotions collection, which is a limited edition color-changing nail polish from Holo Taco. I've never tried any of the Holo Taco nail polishes. I own exactly one nail polish, and it's from IL&P, and I love it. I can't remember the color name. It's basically a black to red, I guess, multi-chrome, and I just don't do my nails that often. I enjoy doing it as like a treat, but Holo Taco has had my attention several times in the past. I think their pastel collection in particular has been gorgeous, and they've had their own multi-chrome collections as well that I think have been just, everything I've seen from them seems incredible, and this is very similar. I think the colors that they chose look great. It seems summery and fun to me. I particularly like that blue-green color and the sort of coral orange color. Yeah, I'm just flipping through the pictures. I think they look gorgeous. And so it says it's a new thermal formula that changes color depending on the temperature. So I guess you'd probably use like a blow dryer or something to make it change color. Yeah, these look really fun. I'm not going to be purchasing them. They're $15 each, which I think is a reasonable price. I'm pretty sure nail polish is fairly expensive to ship, but I think this is a fantastic release. Love to see it. I really enjoy Christine's content, particularly her like podcast with her partner. I think they're both entertaining people and very well educated people that have interesting thoughts on interesting topics. So I really enjoy whenever they post on that channel, and I like to see this. I wish it was a bit more accessible to someone such as myself, given what I suspect shipping will be, which is probably likely very expensive, but I think this is a great release. And so I'm scrolling back a bit, and I'm pretty sure I'm getting back into items that I've talked about before. Yes, I believe I have. So there are so many releases that have come out, numerous perfumes. There's so many perfumes. It's interesting that there seems to be so few eyeshadow palettes. Like there's the 2 from Urban Decay that I talked about. Chantecaille counts as an eyeshadow palette, and that's like kind of it. I know indie companies are really leading on that front, and they're still releasing a lot. Perhaps next time I'll focus a bit more on some indie releases, because I think there are a lot of interesting things going on in that space. And when I buy eyeshadow, it tends to be from an indie company. I actually can't remember the last time I bought something from a company that sold in Sephora. It almost certainly would have been a Natasha Denona palette like 2 plus years ago at this point. But that's all I really wanted to talk about today. I hope you enjoyed this sort of what's happening in new makeup releases and hearing me talk myself out of these products. And if you did enjoy this video, I hope you'll like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to do more than that, I'll have a few links in the description that you can use to support me further. But before you go, I'd love to hear from you. What are some of the new products that have come out that have caught your eye? Will you be purchasing them? And if not, I'd love to hear why you decided to make that decision. And before I go, I'd like to take a second to thank you for taking time out of your day to watch this video. It really means a lot to me. Bye!